everyone, and welcome to Health Solutions with Shawn and Janet Needham, or Team Needham discussing healthcare. This is a special edition of Health Solutions. We've been on vacation in Argentina for a week or so, and we've been rerunning some old episodes of podcasts because we haven't been doing them while we're in Argentina. But we wanted to kind of update you on some of our travels, and we are outside out of a coffee house right now, and you can hear Guns N' Roses' Sweet Child of Mine playing in the background. You can see the speaker actually behind Janet's head, so we're going to do our best to make sure the audio is as good as possible. So as some of you might know, when I came down here to race the Masters Mountain Bike World Championships, and the day before my first race, which was the downhill race, I got injured, and I went ahead and raced the race. I wasn't going to. I was going to drop out of the race because I tore up my shoulder, bruised my leg, jammed my thumb. It was very difficult to hang onto the bike at speed. So I was going to not race because it was so painful in my shoulder going over bumps and down steep hills at any kind of speed. I could barely hang on to the bike. But one of the friends I met here from the United States, he said, "Dude, you got to race." He said, "You've got to finish at least." And so I did. I'm so glad I did. And I didn't go fast, but I was so glad he talked me into that, and I finished. And my cross-country race was 2 days later, and it was kind of a little bit the same. I wasn't recovered, and it was very, very difficult. But I showed up and I finished. But we want to talk about recovering from injuries, because I will tell you, the first day of my injury, my shoulder, I couldn't lift my arm hardly at all, and it was just painful just lying there. But our bodies they're made to recover, and we don't need, you're talking to two pharmacists here. You don't need any special medication to help you recover necessarily. I'm not saying pain medication is always bad. I didn't take any pain medication. No ibuprofen, no acetaminophen, no nothing. Because if you follow Janet and I enough, you know that we're two pharmacists that don't believe in medication to treat many problems. Now, pain medication is necessary, and believe me, when I've broken bones, I've taken pain medication. Short term only, and usually to help when it's not painful at night so I can sleep. But how are the ways that we recover from injury? The ways that we recover from injury, Janet, how do we recover from injury?
So the first advice that we'd like to share is that rest, because that's one of the ways that your body is going to recover, and that means sleep. One of the best things you could do is get a good night's sleep or even a nap during the day, because that gives your body the chance to repair the tissue, because that's when our body is naturally doing that. That activity happens during our sleep. So if you're not sleeping well, or you're not getting any sleep, and you keep continually pushing that will be a hindrance to your body to heal.
And then what other things do we need to help our bodies heal?
So the second advice I would give is make sure that you have whole food, good food that is closer to nature as possible, because those things help to repair. And protein is one of those things that is super important for when you have an injury, or even after having the surgery, because those proteins are going to help build amino acids and help just that repair process happen in a faster manner. So don't short yourself and just do carbs. Carbs are important too, but proteins are super important on this journey of healing.
And what do we have for breakfast just now?
We just ate eggs and some bacon.
I love it.
Yes.
Yeah, we were in Buenos Aires. We went to travel out Bariloche, which Saraballo was where the race was. We went to travel out of there yesterday, and some kind of miscommunication, and we missed our flight. It was going to be that morning into that afternoon, and we didn't. Communication in Argentina with their airlines in Argentina are just a little bit different than we're used to in the United States. I'm not blaming anyone but myself. So we missed the flight, so we had to book new flights because we were going to miss our connection in Buenos Aires. So we actually booked completely new flights, and we're going to be about 12 hours behind where we started. But at least we'll get home tomorrow. We actually are in Buenos Aires now, and if there's a place I had to be stuck for a few extra hours, Buenos Aires is it. Beautiful city, big city, especially for United States standards. The weather's a lot different here than it was when we were in the mountains down near Patagonia, in the Patagonia region. It's a lot warmer here. It's a lot more humid here. The trees have not changed color here yet. It's really weird to see the trees change color and not think it's October, because we're so used to living in North America. So it's like October down here. And Buenos Aires is a lot closer to the equator, so it's a lot more humid and a lot more mild temperature.
So one more thing I want to add to this healing process, and I think part of it also is a mental thing. One of the advantages of having a racer alongside of Shawn, encouraging him, is that the mental part of realizing that you will get back to, you will recover. So the mental part of realizing that, hey, I might slow down, but I still can move, and we still need to continue to move those muscles and joints. And that's one of the things that Shawn did is, he rested, but we also made sure that he did some, stretching and movement. So he did seize up those joints and that muscle. And yeah, it does hurt to move, but the worst thing to do is to not do anything and just be stationary. So he's been keeping his shoulder moving and his leg, and that was huge. And also the fact that with the encouragement of friends, that's the other thing, friends and family, when we get hurt or we have an injury, have people around you that are not downing you, that are encouraging you and uplifting you, because one of the best advice Shawn got is, dude, you came all the way to Argentina, you don't want to be regretting the fact that you didn't race. He said, just give it your best. Don't, you know that you're not going to win at this point, but if you don't get on the track, or if you don't get on the mountain, you're going to regret it. So that was a huge victory, and mentally I think that was part of the process too. So always have some good support if you can, and realize that it's only temporary.
And massage has helped also. We bought a massage gun a few years back at one of the races, actually, and it's been one of the best tools. Should use it every day, but I don't. But it's been a great tool to help. It was amazing, and who knows, it might be psychosomatic, but I mean, it was even the first time after Janet massaged my shoulder, I mean, immediately afterwards it felt better. Now, I do believe that there's a lot of truth in massage, and it's more than psychosomatic. Increasing blood flow to the area, getting the lymphatic system moving, it helps tremendously when it comes to healing injuries. So, but our bodies are created wonderfully to be able to heal themselves if we give it the right tools. And those tools are rest, recovery, nutrition, food, good food. Like Janet said, hydration, that's another thing. And when you think about hydration, don't forget about electrolytes. Electrolytes are so important. I know over the last 20 years, we've preached heavily in healthcare about how much water people should drink. Well, over the last few years, we've realized that in some ways, we've been having literally dilute their electrolytes because they drink too much water and they don't have electrolytes in it. So electrolytes are super important. Sodium, potassium, there's different electrolyte mixes out there. I use a few different ones. Element, LMNT, is a good one. It's got lots of sodium, like a gram of sodium. So it tastes very, very salty. You can watch that podcast with Rob Wolf. If you follow Rob Wolf at all, know him. He's a biochemist that teaches a lot about nutrition and sleep, actually. He's been on a podcast twice to talk about those subjects. And LMNT, Element Electrolyte Solution, they're great little packets, that do aid in recovery. Very, very, if any, I think there's they're like 10 calories or something, so there's a few carbs in them, but not much at all, just for some sweetener. Let's see, Janet, what else can we say about injuries, recovery? What's coming up next?
Well, one of the reasons that his recovery is really important is we got another race that we're heading to, so this delay is kind of mentally in our path, but it won't be for long because we're almost back. But Shawn will be racing this weekend in Prescott during
the Whiskey Off-Road in Prescott, Arizona. So it was on my bucket list. Yep. So we'll be racing that one. Hopefully I'll be recovered. Well, I will be recovered more. I should be really close to 100%. If not, I'll be really close to it. I'm not even going to get a chance to unpack the bike. Yep. I'm just going to keep it packed up, and we will get back tomorrow afternoon, and then we'll leave early Thursday morning to head to Arizona for the Whiskey Off-Road. It's a 30-mile race, much different than the train in Argentina. The train in Argentina, super steep, super slow through forest area, a lot of climbing. No super fast sections as far as flat or super long downhills. Whiskey Off-Road is going to be more suiting my strength, which is more of a faster race with longer flat sections and longer downhills. So yeah, I'm hoping I'm going to recover for that. Hoping to do a short ride tomorrow, possibly if I get home in time. Still do some physical therapy on my shoulder. And that's basically just, you don't have to necessarily go to a physical therapist to do your own physical therapy. There's lots of YouTube videos out there on what you need to do to, after an injury, to make sure that you rehab your injury. I'm not saying that physical therapists aren't helpful, because they surely are. They're very knowledgeable, very helpful. But you don't have to go to physical therapists all the time. In fact, a good physical therapist will tell you that once they teach you how to do the exercises, you should just be doing them at home. You don't need to spend the money to go to physical therapists to do that.
And just use your body to teach you as to, if it starts getting too painful, that's the signal. Stop. Don't press too far.
Yeah, exactly. So when it comes to travel and nutrition and rest, it does get more difficult. We will be flying out of Buenos Aires tonight at 8 p.m. and it's a 10.5-hour flight to Atlanta. And it can be really difficult to sleep on the plane and to get the best nutrition on the plane. So a lot of times you have to pack your own stuff. So we always pack our own electrolyte solutions at least, so we can have our own hydration. It's kind of hard to pack good food all the time. So unfortunately, you are stuck eating, more, packaged food and stuff, or what they serve you on the plane.
But there are still choices.
Yeah, but you can still make healthy choices from that. So, as always, it's a pleasure. We really appreciate all of our listeners and viewers. Thank you guys for tuning in today and tuning in previously. Make sure that you follow our podcast, our Facebook channel on our podcast now that we have Health Solutions with Shawn and Janet Needham. So you can look it up under my page and find the link, or just look up Health Solutions with Shawn and Janet Needham and follow it on Facebook so you don't miss any episodes. We've got a lot of good guests coming up. Dr. Reed Davis is coming up, and he's going to be talking about how important a personalized diet is, and that one diet doesn't fit anybody. Any one person. And we've talked about keto, we've talked about carnivore, we've talked about paleo, we've talked about them all, and they don't, no one diet works for everybody.
No, right. So that comes down to you. You find what works for you, and that's what you go with. And I have a lot of people that will say, what do you do? And I explain what I do, but what Shawn does and what Janet does and what my children do are two different things. So, we just need to zone in and figure out what works and then go with it. But again, we always promote the sleep first, the hydration, and also healthy choices, because the less processed that you can pull for your diet, the better it is for you.
And realize too that your diet should change around your activity.
Correct.
The day I had my cross-country race, my diet was much different than the day I wasn't riding very hard. I ate a lot more carbohydrates and just a lot more calories in general because I burn a lot more. So you got to do that also. Work around your diet should change your activity level. So let's see what else, Janet. How do you want to finish up this podcast?
Well, I have to say this trip has been such a pleasure. And one takeaway I've taken from this beautiful country is not only the scenery, which is absolutely gorgeous and beautiful. Can't describe it. People that have been here understand. But it's the people. They have taught me that, we still, as humans, need the touch of other people in our lives, and I love the way they greet one another and hug one another and interact with one another. It's just beautiful to see, and I just love that part of their culture.
Yes. So, Janet, as we wrap this podcast up, I'm going to be like I'm interviewing you, okay?
Okay.
What do you have a passion for?
Oh, I have a passion for helping other people in this journey of health. It's one of the reasons I chose to go into healthcare, is I wanted people to be able to make choices and decisions for themselves at work. I have a passion for my family, of course. It's one of the reasons I love traveling with Shawn and supporting him on his races. And I just feel that life is too short. We've seen way too many people in our personal life in the past year that has passed away. So, if I can relate anything to people, is don't live in fear. Follow your dream or follow a goal and run for it. Seize the moment.
Janet, if anybody wants to get a hold of you, how is the best place to do that?
So the best place is probably to contact our pharmacy for me at Moses Lake Professional Pharmacy. And if you go to our Facebook page, we have all of our links there. Health Solutions is also linked to that as well. Certainly you can call or even email us.
www.mlrx.com for Moses Lake Professional Pharmacy. Thank you guys for tuning in today. We appreciate it. And we will be back with our regular scheduled podcast, I believe, next week. And I think Dr. Reed Davis will be on our podcast to talk about one diet doesn't fit all. So stay tuned for that. And we thank you all for tuning in. Health Solutions with Shawn and Janet Needham. Thank you.